when I came here 26 years ago, there was a supermarket, which is not here anymore. Today it's Treffpunkten, the meeting point, and has something to do with the municipality of Haninge here. So apparently this is a meeting point for the elderly today, and it was a supermarket all those years ago. Still possible to buy pizza over there. Highly recommended. And now let's go to where I live. This is the bus stop that I used to take 26 years ago, going to work. So pretty much when we came to this area 26 years ago, it's the last time I mentioned the number now, we didn't know anything about Stockholm and where to live, and I had just gotten a job and we had to stay somewhere, so that's what we found. And this is about, I think, 24 kilometers south of town and south from where I worked, and it took me to like 45 minutes to 1 hour almost, depending on which route you would take by bus and subway to commute to downtown Stockholm. But, well, as you can see, it's a very nice and cozy area. Yeah, and here we are on a little street called Sjömansvägen, which is the seaman's street or something like that. Sailor Street, yeah, that's it. Sailor Street, I'm sorry. And you can see a bunch of yellow and over there even white houses or grey houses, and I think they were built in the 1980s, and well, now they are about 40 years old. But in 95, when I came to Sweden, they were still fairly new, and we were in the middle of a crisis because the banks had raised the interest rates a lot, and many people and all these apartments in those houses were like everywhere else were devalued. They were worth a lot less than the sums the people took loans for to buy them. So some of them were sitting there and they couldn't move away. We lived here in a 2-room, very small, 60 square meters, and it was okay at the time. Absolutely. And it was very close to nature. I'm going to show you a little more about the vicinity here soon. So when I lived here, on this side of the road there was nothing. It was just forest. I think there was a clearing, and then the forest began 200 meter inside that field. And now it's all crowded and covered with houses. Yeah. So as I said, we humans are limiting the habitats of animals incredibly, and we have limited them extremely over the last 150 and 200 years, almost everywhere around the world. And that's also the reason why we get closer and closer to so-called viruses. Because there was woods, now there's nothing. Nature is getting smaller and smaller, unfortunately. But it's a beautiful day, and we take a beautiful walk in this beautiful area. People are sitting outside, having their barbecues, and we see also an old house. Well, and more. Well, you can hear the sound of the local rocker disappearing behind us. I'm moving downwards, and yeah, it smells beautifully. The flowers are blooming and have beautiful smells. The blossoms give beautiful smells, and this looks so peaceful. And I think it's the incarnation. It's not the incarnation. It's many people's fantasy of Sweden, right? Look. So beautiful. And we see a beautiful little snake here. Look at it. I have to look it up what it is, but it's a snake. It's not a rainworm or something. On the middle of the street here. Little snake, go into the grass, otherwise you get killed by a car. What a beautiful house. This looks it looks like it has history of families, of different generations of people living there, stories, novels, whatever. That's amazing. And all the birds are singing in the sky, now that the summer is in the air. What we didn't have at the time when I lived here is, of course, a telephone with a map on it. So I'm going to look. I actually know where I am, but I just want to go across the woods here to a different part of the municipality of Haninge. And I'm take a look at the map now to see if it's possible to go through the woods still. Even here you can see how the street that ended like 30 meters down there is extending itself into the woods. A couple of years at a time. Well, usually I would have my earphones plugged, and I would listen to some podcast or some music. But now I'm listening to the sounds of nature, to the wind in the trees, to the birds on the trees and in the sky, and the machines in the distance. So this is Vendelsö skog, the woods of Vendelsö. We don't have so many woods like that actually in Sweden anymore, because here it's really a mixture of very different kinds of trees. Monoculture is very often prevalent in Norway and more in Finland and Sweden actually than in Norway maybe. And this is a small piece of land that we're walking through. If I had taken another path, I think I could have walked a lot more. But we're going a short one today, because I want to show you even more of my former area. Back to civilization. I'm going down the hill here now, and try to avoid walking in through grass, because everywhere, especially south of Stockholm, we have loads of ticks, millions of ticks, and they carry some viruses that you don't want to get, and I'm not vaccinated.
gå?
Nej, det går inte. De kommer att bli sönder.
Vilken är bästa blomman har ni så att man kan lägga den här?
Ja, där förrän och även vintrar.
I always had to cross over this bridge that you saw over the highway when I went to that big supermarket, which might be Sweden's biggest supermarket, to buy groceries. Well, it's pretty hot, 24 degrees Celsius. I'm going to look it up, what that means in Fahrenheit, and tell you later. And I'm ready to go home. This is where Sweden's first hamburger bar is situated. In 1957 they opened up, and it's very American style. Each year they have a festival here. I don't know if they did it during the pandemic, called the Ragar Festival, where old American limousines from all over the country come to this place and eat the hamburgers, and they have a little music and they have a little dance around. So this is a great place, and they have really great burgers. So if you ever come to Sweden, you should go here if you're not a vegan or a vegetarian, of course. For a little moment I actually wondered to go inside the Vega barn to get me one of those famous sambal burgers, but there are too many people in the queue and nobody's wearing a mask in Sweden anymore, so I wait until it is a little bit more safe in this country.